Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Okay, just to inform you that this session is being recorded, okay, for your further reference in the channel. Okay, sorry for a bit late today, setting up my laptop and so on, right? But there are still some of you not here yet, right? So please do remind your other group members to join us today for our lecture on the third chapter, right? Today is the sixth week of the academic session. Have you got your timetable yet? You got your timetable for the test?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So the schedule for our test will be what date was it? 634. Okay, Wednesday, is it? Wednesday, 9 to 12. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So anyone having any problem with this, please do let me know. Okay. I think there's a form for you to fill up. Is it? To give feedbacks, right? Okay. So please fill in the form if you do have any clashing of courses due to the lab session, right? So today is also 23rd. 23rd, is it? 22nd of Ramadan. So we have about another, 7 to 8 days more. Okay. So times do fly so fast, right? It's nearly to the end of the Ramadan. Okay, we are in the third quarter now. Okay, hopefully, inshallah, we could see Ramadan day again next year, inshallah. Okay, so today we'll be looking into chapter 3. I hope you have already downloaded the notes and maybe have done some preliminary readings. Okay, so that any questions regarding the lecture, okay, you could freely ask me during the session. Okay, so before we start our session, right, and make sure that the session is blessed. So let us recite Al-Fatiha. Okay, so basically, if you do notice, I have uploaded the mini project, right? Mini project requirements in UFuture since last week, but because last week we were unable to have a class on Thursday, okay, due to a public holiday for Nuzul Quran, right? So I intend to give you the recordings I have already briefed the group about the mini project last Wednesday, right? Last Wednesday. So I thought of giving that recording to you, but maybe I'll just give you a live briefing on the mini project. Okay, so that if you do have any questions on that, you can ask me after the briefing. So the briefing will be conducted, inshallah, this Thursday, that is 6th of May, just after we have discussed the fourth lab, session, and then I'll be giving you the briefing on the mini project. Okay, and next week will be your midterm break. Okay, and also our Aidil Fitri holiday, right? 1 week, and then the week after that, that is week 7, because now is week 6. Next week is midterm, and then after the midterm is week 7. So that will be your test week, right? And then on week 7 and then week 8, okay, we'll be finishing our last lab session, the 5th lab session. Okay, just a comm check. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes,
Doctor.
Right. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yes.
So we've looked into chapter 1. Okay, so for your first test, that is going to be scheduled this on week 7 after our Hari Raya. Okay, basically it will cover chapter 1 and also chapter 2 only. Okay, where it will contribute only 20% of your total marks. Total marks for this subject, right? And maybe, okay, inshallah this coming Thursday also, okay, I'll be sharing with you guys a sample of last semester's or previous semester's test. Okay, just to give you an idea, how does the questions look like? Okay, and basically, the most important thing when you answer your question, right? Maybe you do think that it is correct, it is acceptable, because in ergonomics, in this subject, it is something. The subject matter is something that you can think of. That it is something like a common sense question, right? However, maybe it is correct, but it is not accurate. So what we are looking into your answers, okay, are only accurate results. It may be correct, but if it is not accurate means that your answers are answered with respect to ergonomics principle. Okay, so along today's lecture, okay, I will share you guys about what are correct answers and also accurate answers, right? So if you answers it correctly but not accurate, so maybe you won't get marks there. Right. So today we'll look into workplace ergonomics. Okay, we'll look into postures and whatnot, MSDs, basically musculoskeletal disorders. Okay, so in the first chapter we've looked into the general term of what is basically ergonomics. Okay, and then in the second chapter, okay, we've looked into the human body. Okay, especially on anthropometry. Okay, the human body size, the human body measurement. Okay, why it is important to have this anthropometric data. Okay, and what are the design principles? Okay, either you are designing for the average, okay, for the adjustable, or maybe for the extreme, okay, extreme minimum or extreme maximum, right? And also percentiles, okay, means that the population, okay, that it presents, right? So in this third chapter, okay, we are going to look a bit on the ergonomics at the workplace. Okay, what happens if you don't take care of yourself? Okay, what are the illness, okay, that or injuries that may occur or may experience by you guys, right? It's going to rain over here in section 23, right? You can hear the thunder just now, right? So hopefully it doesn't, or it pours rain for a while only, just to cool up the day. Okay, it's quite hot just now, right? So that those who are okay, at the bazaar, Niaga Bazaar Ramadan today, okay, it's not affected too much lah. Okay, right. So today we'll look into workplace ergonomics. Okay, can we start basically?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you for your response. Right. So today we'll look into workplace ergonomics. Okay, what does ergonomics at the workplace, okay, can cause you or can affect a person or the human operator. Okay, so today we'll look into about the MSDs. Most of it is about MSDs. Okay, anyone have heard about MSD before, or this is the first time you heard about MSD? Anyone?
I think it's my first time.
First time, right? Anyone have heard it about this term before? MSD, musculoskeletal disorders. Anyone?
Pernah dengar tapi tak further.
Pernah dengar tapi
tak further faham kan.
berapa faham? Right.
Melayunya
Melayunya? Melayunya saya tak pastilah. Musculoskeletal disorders. Nanti you try Google lah. Google Translate. Right? But in ergonomics, basically, in ergonomics, the term MSD is very, very common. Very common, right? Because if you don't apply ergonomics, you'll get MSD. Why you get MSD? Because you don't apply ergonomics. So there it's like bread and butter lah. Okay, it is very dependent between each other, right? So in this chapter we look into about MSD, right? So what is MSD? What causes MSD? Okay, and how can you avoid MSD, right? So these are the things. Okay, these are the things, and it is because we are from the mechanical engineering faculty, right? School of mechanical engineering. And you are mechanical engineering students, and so we are going to talk more on ergonomics at the workplace, okay, at the workplace, right? So we look into what is MSD, okay, how to avoid and so on, right? So just a general term of ergonomics, we've looked this in the first chapter, okay. It is about the law of work, okay, and when you talk about workplace, right? If you do remember, when we talk about ergonomics, it must have these three elements. What are they? If you do remember, this is being repeated again and again in chapter 1. Who does remember? What are the elements? Okay, that you need. When you talk about ergonomics, we must talk about these three things. What are the elements? Anyone?
Human operator.
Okay, human operator. Second one. There's three things. Human operator. The second one. Anyone? We do have 30 students on board. Yes, I heard someone switching on his or her mic. Who is this? Hello? Anyone? Or am I lagging? Can you hear me basically?
Yes.
Right, who's this just now?
Farid.
Farid, right. So we have the human operator, the second one. What do we have? Farid? We need these three elements. And then this is what we are going to talk about ergonomics. When we have these three things, the human operator, and then the second one, the work, right? The work that he or she is doing, right? And the third one, what is the third one? The workplace or the environment, right? So human, okay, the work, and also the environment, okay, the workplace. When we have these three things, okay, this is where normally we will consider ergonomics, right? Okay, so when we talk about ergonomics, workplace, ergonomics in workplace, right? Just to share with you guys, well, in the beginning of this semester, right? Last semester we did have a couple of classes where we did mass lecture, right? And we got complaints. We got complaints from the students' representative body, the MPP. Okay. Well, they raised the issue, the complaints that I'm not sure some or most of the students or all of the students, I'm not sure, but the complaints came from the students, okay, from our students, saying that if possible, they do not want mass lecture. Okay, if they do not want mass lecture. Okay, and especially for tutorial classes or lab sessions. Okay, last semester, yes, we did had some. But last semester was the second semester we have the ODL due to this pandemic. So last semester we did have several classes where we applied mass lecture. Okay, but the mass lecture was applied via a lecture session. Okay, but for the lab, the tutorials, okay, mostly was conducted in groups. Okay, so among the concern of these students, they say that if they come up with if we lecturers apply the mass lecture, okay, they are unable to communicate, okay, to ask, to give response, okay, to the lecture and whatnot. All right. So hopefully today, okay, when I do ask something, I do get a response lah. Okay, because we do have 30 students. Okay, and then last Saturday or last Sunday, one of the students did email me asking to join the class. Okay, but I asked him to find another classes because it's quite late, because it's already week 6, and then I'm not sure why. He said because he only found the form to apply for adding courses, okay, after the time for add and drop, okay, is closed, right? And he said that he's going to graduate. He's graduating, right? So if you are graduating, okay, these things should be amongst the most priority concern, okay, of you guys since the first week of the academic session. So ni dah minggu ke-6, so and then my policy is if I let him in, okay, I need to let another 12 or 10 or 12 students that already applied to be in the class much earlier, right? So to be fair, so I say to him, try to look for other classes, because I do believe we do have lots of other special topic classes, so I hope he could find one of the classes, right? So again, right, going back to the topic that we are discussing, okay, right? So going back to the just for the maths lecture, right? So the students complain that they cannot communicate, interact, ask questions, okay, because the what do you call it, the participants, okay, is too big. Okay, the volume of the class is too big because it is maths lecture. Normally 2 or 3 classes are being into one lecture, right? But for me, because we are not in a physical class, right? Everyone is in front of their PC, so there's no. This is my opinion. Can you hear me basically?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
So this is my opinion. So there's no for me there's no constraint for you not to interact, ask and whatnot. Okay, lagi-lagi lah tak nampak muka kan, so tak kalau macam face to face macam agak malu lah kalau nak tanya something like what. Okay, so ni tak nampak muka kan, right? So I should get much more responsive participants much responsive audience lah. Okay, right, because we do have 30 students, right? There's no right and wrong. Okay, so far none of my students died or fainted yet because of answering a question, right? So again, you are graduating students, okay, part 8, part 7, right? So after this, you are going out there into the industry that will be much more harsh, much more complex compared to the okay, zaman-zaman belajar ni, right? So the competition is very high out there, right? So so you should show us a bit more what do you call that? Not response. Yes, proactive. Thank you very much for the word. You should show a bit more proactive. Okay, kalau compare saya mengajar redak part 3-5 dulu when you were CAT students of mine in part 4, I do understand lah, or part 1 students. Sometimes they call us cikgu, okay, no problem about that, right? But for graduating students, part 8 students, right? So you know, things should be reflected through your maturity lah. Okay, that's it for the advertisement for today. Right. So going back to what we are going to look into this topic for today, workplace economics at the workplace. Okay, about MSD. So when we talk about MSD, when someone is working, when you are working, basically you require to do something, right? So there's always a physical demand when you are doing something, right? A physical demand. For example, what is your physical demand currently now? In front of what is your physical demand now in this ODL today? Sitting, right? Sitting. So if you answer sitting, right? So basically, if that is the question in your test, so most probably you will get 0 marks. Okay, so your answers in your test should not be a 1-word answer. Okay, so let's say the answers ask, what list the 5 physical demands that are related to your ODL for this semester. Sitting, so you get 0 marks. Okay, so you should say the physical demands. And the physical demand is basically sitting upright in the correct posture, okay, in front of laptop, okay, so that you don't get backache. So that is considered and look at the marks. If the marks is 2, so basically you require to give at least two full sentences. If the answer is the marks is 1, okay, so you need to give 1 full sentence, at least 1 point. But if it is 2 marks, okay, you need to give at least 2 sentences. Okay, explain means that you need to give at least 2 sentences with 2 points, right? So you get what I'm saying?
Yes, get it.
Right. So sitting, so that's very general. Sitting on what? Right. So when you say physical demands, okay, with respect to your ODL, right? So it means that you, the physical demand is sitting upright. Okay, sitting upright in the correct posture. Okay, on my chair in front of the laptop. Okay, and make sure, okay, that the posture is correct so that I don't get back pain. Okay, so we'll look into the back pain MSD after this. Right? So those are the physical demands. So when we are doing a job, okay, there will be physical demands. Okay, like riding a motorcycle. You are riding a motorcycle, you are maneuvering a motorcycle, right? So you are doing a job. What you are doing, you are maneuvering or steering a motorcycle. Right? So what are the physical demands? Holding the handlebars firmly, right? Sitting straight, upright. Okay, putting your foot on the footrest. Okay, and then what else? Okay, you need to observe the road, left to right. Okay, not up and down. Okay, but you need to look at the road. Okay, you need to look left and right. Okay, you need to observe, okay, the traffic. So those are basically physical demands. And when we have physical demands, what happens? What happens? Sitting in my class for 2 hours, non-stop, for example, okay, in an upright position, or maybe, I'm not sure, maybe some of you are lying on your bed, maybe, ada tak yang tengah menyerap? Kan? Menyerap atas katil, ada laptop, right? Maybe, right? Or maybe there's some of you are in your car, maybe going somewhere, but oh, we have a class today, so you switch on, right? Maybe, right? So these are the physical demands. So when you do something physically, right? When you're doing something, what happens? What happens to yourself? What happens to your body? What does your body experience?
Fatigue.
Fatigue. Yes, you will get tired, you'll get fatigued. And when the fatigue comes to a level where it becomes a severe fatigue, what happens?
Pain.
Yes, you get pain. Okay. What actually makes you feel the pain? The skin, is it? The flesh of your body? The muscles.
No.
Yes, the muscles. When you're talking about fatigue, okay, we have physical fatigue, that is your muscle, and we do have mental fatigue, that is basically your brain, your eyes. Okay, so this is where, right, when you answer your questions, it must be related to ergonomics principle, right? So when we do have physical demands, okay, your body will do something, and then along the way, when we do have the time domain, means that you are doing something in a prolonged duration. Okay, remember the man lifting up the box, okay, that we had in the early chapters of the lecture, okay, that I asked what's wrong with him, the one with the safety hat, with the overall, right, lifting up the box, right?
Yes.
So referring to that man, right, when he's doing that job, right, what happens to him? He'll become fatigued. But what if he's only lifting that for only that's the first and the last, sekali yang angkat? Do you think he will become fatigued?
No.
Because why? Because there's no time domain. There's no prolonged duration of that. Right? Your muscles, okay, can somehow adapt lah. Right? However, if you're doing it repetitively, okay, cyclically, right, every day, okay, maybe in certain period, okay, maybe for 1 hour, for 2 hours, right? So this is where your muscles will become fatigued, you'll build up, okay, and this is where you are prone, you are exposed to MSD, musculoskeletals, that we are going to look after this. Right. So when we do a job, okay, so these are some of the risk factors. Okay, so risk factors. So in your mini project, right, that I will brief you guys this Thursday, or anyone has downloaded the requirement from UFuture? Maybe you got some info from the other class. Maybe anyone have downloaded the requirements? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right. So maybe you can look into the UFuture, okay, into the mini project folder of mine, and you can download the requirements, okay, just to have an initial reading before we discuss it this Thursday, right? So what you're going to do, okay, in your mini project is basically you're going to assess the risk. Okay, we are going to do some ergonomics risk assessment. Okay, why we do risk assessment? Because we want to know whether if this worker, if this human operator is working at a workplace, is he or she exposed to any hazard? Is he or she exposed to any danger? Right? So if there are any hazards, danger or risk, this is where you yourself is responsible to avoid, to make sure that your workers are safe. So you need to avoid all these things. So this is where we need to assess all these risks. So some of the job risk factors, okay, is basically at the workplace is basically awkward postures. Okay, so there will be lots of things that relates to posture. Okay, and posture is not only your back posture, sitting posture, okay, bending, wrist, hands, all positions of your body is basically about posture. Right? And then when there's a time domain, okay, prolong. When we talk about prolong, mainly it is about 2 hours or more. Prolong sitting, prolong standing, prolong driving, prolong riding, okay, it is about 2 hours or more, right? Because if you do something non-stop, right? If you do something non-stop, this is where your muscles become tired, okay? It starts to fatigue, and then maybe you will experience any maybe muscle cramps, okay, muscle strain, okay, and maybe when it comes to a very severe condition, okay, maybe you will experience a much more severe injury, right? So and then your bending, stretching of your body, right? And when you are lifting something, okay, pushing, pulling, okay, and also the environment's condition, about vibration, maybe, right? So this is where we do have job risk factors, okay, that may lead to injuries, or we call it MSDs. Okay, am I clear?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, doctor.
Just to share with you guys, I do believe that the guys here, most of you rides a motorcycle, right? A motorcycle. Maybe the ladies also do ride motorcycles. We do have lady bikers juga, kan? Okay, when you ride a motorcycle, in a non-stop condition, non-stop, without stopping, okay, how many hours could you ride your motorcycle? Anyone? Let's say a cup chai. How many hours? 1 hour? Okay. How many hours you ride your motorcycle non-stop, and then you start to feel pain, you start to feel fatigue, you start to have cramps or whatnot? How many hours or how many minutes? Anyone? Your name was 2 hours, okay, right? Others?
2 minutes.
Neighbor.
I think
Belum.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, okay, half an hour. Okay, lady bikers, any female bikers here? Lady bikers that rides motorcycle, how long you ride a motorcycle and then you start to feel uncomfortable, pain, okay, fatigue or whatnot? How many hours or how many minutes? 1 hour, 2 hours just now, half an hour, all right? Any others would like to give an opinion?
4 hours.
4 hours, was it? Is it 4 hours? I just heard 4 hours, is it?
Yes.
4 hours. Who's this? Who is this?
Fikri.
Fikri. 4 hours, Fikri. From where to where?
Penang to KL.
Penang to KL, 4 hours. And can I say that in that 4 hours you do not stop? At least once to refuel?
Once stop for
Once
fueling.
stop. Right. So that is not non-stop. Right. So the question is non-stop. Right. So when in your test, please make sure you do read your question carefully. Because what I experienced previous semester, for the first test, normally the students do not answer the question correctly. Kita tanya lain, jawab lain. Right? We don't have dui bahasa. We don't have dui bahasa. when I was at Simraya, we do have Dwi Bahasa for our examinations and also tests, right? We do have Dwi Bahasa. So if we don't understand what's the question in English, so we will turn to the page where we do have the Malay language question. What happens? Any idea? What happens? You don't understand the English version and you open the BM version. What happens? Anyone? Would like to give a guess? What happened to us? Kita jadi makin tak faham. Bayangkan keluar kata-kata macam aci sesondol. Aci engkol. What are aci engkol? What is aci engkol? Nanti cari. Aci sesondol. Pelik lah pula kan. Right. So in your test question, please make sure you do read carefully the question. So the question was, how long could you ride your motorcycle non-stop? Non-stop means that you don't stop anytime, right? So when you say 4 hours, so you cannot ride your motorcycle for 2 hours non-stop, 4 hours non-stop. Okay, especially for Kapchai lah. Okay, so this is just to share about what I did for my project, for my PhD project. So I was looking into a motorcyclist fatigue. How could a motorcyclist, how long could a motorcyclist ride his motorcycle before he starts to feel fatigue? And I did focus only on Kapchai because I can see from the statistics from JPJ and also PDRM, right? Registered motorcycle every year in Malaysia, 95% and above are Kapchai motorcyclists, Kapchai's type of motorcycles, and most of the accidents involved in Malaysia, especially involve Kapchai motorcycles, right? More than 97%. Involve Kapchai motorcycles compared to other types of motorcycles, right? So this is why I did focus my research on Kapchai, and most of them are male, so I did focus on male, and the age range, most of the motorcyclists involved in accidents, whether it is a normal accident or fatal accident, the age range is between 16 to 25. What age are you now? 24, is it?
Yes, 24.
Right, 24.
Yes.
So you have another 1 year period. Because this 16 to 25 is the most vulnerable motorcyclist age range that involve in accidents on road. Right. So I did make a median and average of what are the cyclists. So most of my respondents are between 23 and also 25 years old. Right. So when they say, I did a questionnaire asking the respondents, how long you ride your motorcycle before you start to feel the first symptom of fatigue, or uncomfortable, or pain, when you ride motorcycle. So most of the respondents, the 30 respondents, averagely said that they start to feel fatigue or pain after 1 hour and 31 minutes. 1 hour and a half, basically 1 hour 31 minutes average. Right. So I did a motorcycle simulation on 30 respondents, male motorcyclists aged between 23 and also 25. They ride the motorcycle simulator at the faculty for 2 hours. Why 2 hours? Because it is prolonged, right? And then from there we detected, that on average, the respondent will start to feel fatigue after riding their motorcycle non-stop, on a Kapchai motorcycle, average speed 100 to 110 km per hour, right? After 1 hour 27 minutes, right? So this is where I did conclude my project, and I said that if you do ride a motorcycle, whether you feel fatigue or not, whether you feel pain or not, but after 1 hour 25 minutes, so I pull the time much earlier, much earlier. So from the questionnaire, 1 hour 31 minutes, from the simulation 1 hour 27, so I made it to 1 hour 25 minutes. Easier for cyclists to remember this. If you do feel fatigue or not, tired or not, but after riding non-stop, non-stop for 1 hour 25 minutes, you need to stop for a break. You should stop for a break. Right. Why I said that you cannot ride non-stop for 4 hours, because your motorcycle tank, I did a simulation and also a road experimentation. okay, from Gombak to Meloh and back and forth, back to Gombak to Meloh to Gombak, non-stop, right? In a single fuel tank. So I did use a Honda Wave Kapchai, okay, one of the fuel efficient motorcycle Kapchai that we do have here in Malaysia. Just to check, can you hear me? Can you follow the story?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
So the most you could go until your motorcycle stops at the roadside. Stop, berhenti minyak habis is 2 hours 15 minutes, 2 hours 20 minutes. That's the most. But normally you don't ride your motorcycle until you stop at the roadside, right? You will always look at the meter indicator, the petrol, the fuel indicator. When it starts to go to E, so you will stop at the petrol pump and then start to refuel back your motorcycle. So the uniqueness of our muscles is that if you do something in a prolonged duration, okay, 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes, and then you stop for a while just to refuel your motorcycle, this is where the uniqueness of our muscle is that it starts to refresh back. It starts to recover back. Right? Like when you are playing football, 45 minutes, you play full time, okay, sampai terjeli lidah. And then when you have a 15 minutes break of the half time, you can play again in the second half. Don't that? Right? Because your muscle starts to recover back. Right? So this is where, okay, going back to what we are discussing today, right, is where when we do something in a prolonged duration, okay, the time domain, in a physical demanding job, right? But when you have a break for a while, this is where your muscle starts to refreshen back, and this is where you reduce your risk to any injuries or MSDs. So these are some of the job risk factors, okay, that are related to the injuries or MSDs that may that you may experience if you are exposed or you do apply all these job risk factors. Right. So what we are looking into when we talk about ergonomics at the workplace, okay, we want the human operator to be safe, right, so that he or she could do their job, okay, and perform efficiently, right? And this is where we are trying to avoid these people, these workers, to get or to experience MSD, okay? So we do have MSD, or sometimes we call it WMSD, work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Okay, why, and how could you get all these? Okay, from all these physical demands, okay, that you do, okay, whether it is an awkward posture, whether you are overloading, okay, overexerting, okay, you are reaching too high, okay, you are bending too low, or to the most extreme, right? You are exposed to maybe the environment, like the vibration or noise, right? And then you're doing it repetitively, okay, or cyclically, right? So this is where, okay, when you do all this, okay, you could get MSD. Okay? This is with respect to ergonomics study, right? So the term of MSD is very, very common when we talk about ergonomics at the workplace. Okay, or not at the workplace, or in general about ergonomics, we always relate MSD with ergonomics and also ergonomics with MSD. So what is MSD basically? So it is basically an injury or an illness, okay, that affects the muscle. Okay, nama pun muscle lah. It affects the muscles, and when we have muscles, there must be nerves, okay, to control the muscle, to control your sensories, right? And when we do have muscles, okay, musculo is muscle, skeletal, what is skeletal?
Tulang.
Tulang lah kan, bone. So how does the muscles is being attached to the bones? Okay, they are being attached with tendons. Right? So we do have tendons. And how does the bones is being attached to another bone? Is where we do have ligaments. Okay, and then we have joints between them. Okay, and also we do have your backbone on the spinal disc. Right, so basically it is the injury or illness with respect to all these elements here, the muscle, nerves, tendons, etc. Right, so this is where, right, when we talk about MSD, okay, we are talking about, okay, the injury, okay, the cause, and also how to avoid the interventions. Right, so what are the common regions or body regions that mostly or likely to be exposed to WMSD? Okay, so we have the four parts, the four body regions. Okay, the back, right? So we do have the upper back, the middle back, and also the lower back, the neck, right? The upper back, and also your extremities, whether it is the upper extremities or the lower extremities. Okay, your limbs, right? So do you know Perkeso? I think you do know Perkeso or Sokso, right? Maybe your parents are kita panggil mencarum. What is mencarum in English? Anyone could help me? Subscribe, is it? Okay, maybe you can Google for me after this, right? So maybe your parents, your siblings are working, right? And they are being subscribed with Perkeso or Sokso by the employer. Okay, and every year via the HFEM Society, Human Factors and Ergonomics Society Malaysia, right? We do get research grants or grants from Perkeso. Okay. Okay, that is given to the society, and in the society we do have all these members of HFEM, and we are open to provide seminars or trainings to the workers, to companies out there to spread awareness on ergonomics. Because why Perkeso needs our help to make sure that the workers are aware or do know how to take care of themselves when they are working. Because what does Perkeso do? They manage the claims made by workers, that experience any injuries or MSDs, at the workplace, and this is where Perkeso dia macam badan insurance lah, that will give them compensation towards what they experience, right? And among the most or the common claims that is being done by the workers, and cause absenteeisms, they are unable to come to work, is basically back pain, especially on the lower back, the lumbar. If you do remember your spine, your backbone, the distribution of your bones, you do have the three sections, the cervical, right, and then we have the thoracic, that is the middle back, and we do have the lumbar, that is the lower back, right? So this is where Perkeso asks us to do trainings, give awareness to workers, make sure they have good posture, make sure after some duration they do stand up, they do twist their body so that they don't get back pain, because it is very common. It is a very common disease or illness that has the highest rate of claim, among the highest rate of claim with Perkeso, and not just Perkeso but also other countries. That's why I did say to the other class yesterday, is it? Yesterday during the lecture, I said that in this whole wide world, at least everyone has once experienced this pain, or you can say MSD lah. What is it? It is the low back pain, LBP. Mesti pernah. Ada tak anyone here that has not ever felt or encountered a back pain before? Ada tak? Anyone?
No.
Mesti ada kan? Mesti ada. Why? Lots of reasons. Kalau balik kampung raya-raya ni, minggu depan nak raya ni, nak balik kampung kan. Kalau saya, if I go back ke Kelantan, cuti raya ni, the minimum hours of driving is normally between 12 to 14 hours. 16 biasalah, but the minimum is 12 to 14. 16 is normal. Why? I do have lots of pit stop, and then the most longest ever journey from Shah Alam to Kota Baru was 26 hours on the road in the car. Right? Why? Because it was a very heavy traffic jam. At that time it was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and we slept in the car. Sampai anak saya cakap, macam mana ni bapa, tidur tak sampai lagi, bapa tidur tak sampai lagi kan. 26 hours, just imagine that. Right? So normally when you arrive at your kampung, macam biasa lah, bapa mutu akan cakap apa, naik bas pun jam juga kadang. Right. What if you take bus 20 tukar driver, ada sekali lah saya tukar driver dengan wife saya. Tapi it's not because of the back pain, but because I'm too sleepy. But because when you are apa kata, bila kita selalu bawa kereta, when you are always driving your car and then someone drives the car for you, you rasa rasa takut right? Rasa lain, rasa nak tekan brake je, right? Because you are the one that drives a lot, pergi mana you will drive, right? So I did change the driver seat with my wife lah, but maybe for just maybe half an hour, okay, just get a short nap, okay, and then saya can drive balik. Yeah, itu pun that is because I'm too sleepy lah, but not because of the back pain and whatnot, right? So just imagine 26 hours, right? And you in the bus 26 hours in the bus sitting in that posture, right? Mesti you akan rasa sakit belakang, back pain. Sampai kampung, disambut dengan sakit belakang dah ni. Dia dah tukar dah dia punya, apa dia panggil? Logat dia kan, dia punya tone ni. Right? So in the whole wide world, the most common pain or body pain that everyone must or has experienced at least once in their whole lifetime is back pain. And it is commonly for workers is low back pain. Right? So this is where Perkeso every year, they need to give awareness to workers. When we give awareness to workers, are the workers, just to ask you, are the workers are not aware? Do they do not know? Betul kan? Do they do not know how to sit properly? Do they do not know that you need to stand up after a while after sitting, or you need to sit down after a while standing? Agak-agak diorang tak tahu ke? Ni pekerja-pekerja, maybe some of them, right? But actually they do know, but they don't remember. Dia tak ingat. Short sangat buat kerja kan. 2 jam dah punya. When I drive back home, normally I will drive non-stop in my car, okay, for 3 or 4 hours. Dululah, awal-awal dulu, masa awal kahwin. But now, 2 hours, or when I see any petrol pump, okay, I will brake for a while. Okay, because well, I do have this not minor lah, I do have this glitch on my disc. Pernah sekali kena. Right? So this is where it's like safety briefing, safety seminar. Every year, a company will always send their workers to safety trainings, to safety seminars. Why? Do they do not know how to wear properly their safety helmet? Do they do not know how to wear their reflecting jacket? Right? It's like a fire drill. Kenapa kena buat fire drill? Orang takkan tak tahu kalau ada api mestilah lari kan? But we need to remind workers. We need to spread the awareness. That's why we keep on reminding and also reminding, right? So this is where Perkeso, okay, the body in Malaysia that manage the claims for compensations of workers that are injured, okay, at the workplace, okay, or maybe they have some illness, okay, due to their work, okay. So this is where Perkeso will give them compensations in terms of claims, right? And among the highest is basically back pain, and for accidents, okay, amongst the highest, or the highest, if I'm not mistaken, okay, is commuting accident. Tahu tak commuting accident? Anyone have heard about commuting accident? It's also a common term in ergonomics. Wow, can you hear that thunder? Anyone knows what is commuting accident? I don't know. What is commuting accident? Accident? No. Commuting. Commuting ni pergi ke satu tempat lah. Commute kan? Commuter, right? Commute. Commuting accident is basically an accident that involves a worker, okay, whether he or she is from their homes to the workplace and vice versa, whether they are going to their work or they're going back home. So within these two journeys, if they are involved in any accidents, this is where they could claim with Perkeso, right? And in commuting accidents, the most or the highest accidents, okay, involve what type of vehicle? I think you can guess. What type of vehicle? in commuting accident, do you think? Yes, motorcycles. So I think it's been what the past 4 years. Every year, okay, I'll be conducting a talk, a seminar with many companies. Okay, that is being sponsored by Pekeso, okay, hosted by HFM, okay, to give talks, okay, to workers on the awareness of motorcycle safety. Okay, last year was it? Or last 2 years? Last 2 years, last 2 years, I was being called, okay, by Sain Dabi Plantation in Kelang, okay, and they say that, oh, we do have this budget to make a seminar, a safety seminar, and we saw that we have quite a high rate of commuting accidents involving our workers. Commuting because it is basically nak jalan nak ke Pulau Indah. Do you know that highway? Kesas going to Pulau Indah. If you happen to commute, okay, on that highway, you will be somehow sharing the road with big containers, big containers, because they are going to the port, Port Klang, right? So this is where it involves a lot of accidents, okay, involving motorcycles. So they asked me to give a talk. When I came to the facility in Saim Dabi, there was about 50 to 60 participants there. And just imagine, I need to give a talk on motorcycle safety to people of the age range of 50 to 60. Nak pencen-pencen dah ni. Alright. So how should you give a talk? Saya ni agak muda lah juga kan banding dia orang tu. To them that had been riding their motorcycle maybe for 30 years, for 40 years, right? And you're going there and you are going to ask them, hey, sebenarnya macam ni cara buat motor. Right. Kan ada orang tak reti cara buat motor kan. So this is where we need to instill awareness. It's not, I told them, it's not, I'm here not to teach you how to ride motorcycle. You do know how to ride motorcycle, even better than me. But I'm here to give you awareness about motorcycle safety. Right? How to steer, how to ride your motorcycle correctly, or how to ride your motorcycle safely. And it's not for you. Orang-orang ni semua nak pencen lah saya cakap. It is for whom? It is for their kids. Okay? For their daughters, for their sons, and maybe for their nieces, anak buah dan sebagainya, right? Because we do see motorcycle accident is the highest road, okay, accident involved not only in Malaysia, but most of the continents of the world and other countries, whereby we see if the population has a very high volume of cycles, okay, being registered, okay, compared to other road users, okay, motorcyclists are the most vulnerable road users, okay, and for sure, okay, the rate of accidents, the fatality involving cyclists is very high. Right. So again, right, when we talk about awareness, okay, do you think they do not know about safety? They do not know how to make sure their posture is good. They do not know that after sitting for quite a long time, they need to stand up, twist their body, stretch a bit or whatnot. After standing for quite a long time, they need to sit or stretch and whatnot. They do know, but this is where we need to give awareness. Right, so going back to our topic. Okay, going back to our topic. Okay, when we talk about MSD, when we talk about body regions, right? So these are some of the terms of MSDs. We have carpal tunnel syndrome, rotator cuff syndrome, okay, lateral epicondylitis, okay, or tennis elbow, okay, low back pain, LBP, right? So you can Google the names of the MSDs if the question asks about give or list or explain 5 MSDs that are related with ODL or that is possible for students, okay, to be exposed to MSDs during this ODL. Okay, explain 5 MSDs. So please make sure you give the correct name of MSD. Jangan main letak muscle pain. Okay, there's a specific name for this MSD. Ada nama dia, right? So please make sure in your first test and also in your second test, we are looking for accurate results. Maybe you think it is correct, but it is too general and it doesn't make any relation with ergonomics principles, design and whatnot. So maybe you will not get marks for that particular answer. Right. So when we do have MSD, or when we are going to have MSD, when we are exposed to those risk factors that may lead to MSD, normally they will give you symptoms, right? What happens when you do have symptoms? What happens? Siapa sini main bola? Anyone playing football here? Or rugby? Carom, chess? Tak sangat lah. All these physical sports, ada tak sini? Anyone playing football? Mesti kan, futsal,
Ada
bola, right? Adalah juga kan, seorang dua. Yang lain semua mungkin mak study je kot. Right. So when you play these physical sports, normally when you are injured, biasa kan main bola mesti injured punya. Kan? Zaman-zaman sekolah dulu, when I was at during my school times, wakil sekolah ni, kita jadi famous lah kan, famous kejap. Right. So what do we do? After tournament game je, mulalah pakai bandage ni, pakai bandage ni, right? Ada tak? Pakai bandage kat lengan, kan? Pakai dekat ankle, tak ada benda pun. Ada tak perangai macam ni?
Ada.
Sebab apa pakai benda-benda tu? Lagi duk asrama. Apa dia?
Nak tunjuk.
Nak bagi apa?
Nampak style.
Kita paling bola.
Style kan? Nampak lah kita ni player. Right. Nampak lah dekat kan kawan-kawan gadis ni kan. Shot dia ni. Dia injured main kan. Wakil sekolah. Tak ada benda pun. Kalah 14-0 kan. Right. So when we play football, all these physical games, you will get injured. Biasa lah kan. So when you injure yourself, what do? Apa you buat? Kadang lutut, kadang bahu, right? Main rugby, bahu dislocate, lutut, peha lebam. What do?
Letak ais.
Letak ais. Ni terror ni. Ni pernah masuk kelas rehab ni. Right, fisioterapi ni. Dulu. Right? At my time.
Spray.
Urut.
Panas kan. Urut kan. Letak minyak panas kan. Pakai Menza. Minyak kuda tau minyak kuda. Kan. But when I did join one of the seminars on back pain, it was hosted by NIOSH, NIOSH Bangi, long time ago, and the speaker was Dr. Anwar Sun, PM if I'm mistaken, Professor Dr. Anwar Sun. He's one of the he's retired already. He's one of the lecturer at Faculty of Sports and Recreation UiTM FSR, and he's one of the medical doctor in our Everest team, team yang pergi Everest tu, right? So he's one of the medical doctor. So he taught us about back pain and sebagainya lah. But along his seminar, he said when you are injured, especially due to sports injury or any maybe just a trip and fall, tergelincir ke whatnot, right? And you get bruises, you punya tangan terseliuh ke whatnot, right? So normally what my zaman saya nampak sangat tua. Zaman saya dulu ni, what we do is basically we will put heat balm kan, sapu minyak panas, urut, right? So basically if we follow the medical physiotherapy procedure whatnot, so we shouldn't do that. What we should do is ICE. The term is ICE. ICE. Betul lah cakap ICE tadi. Who said ICE just now? ICE?
Ais.
Tengah hari buta ni dapat ICE.
Betul sir, kat sini panas.
Panas bayangkan Bandung soda cincau. Right.
Dia cikam sir.
Dari cikam boleh tahan juga tu. Right. So when we do have these injuries, we apply this ICE. So I stands for ice. We need to put cold pack ice on the wound, on the swelling. And it is not putting ice directly onto the skin because you will get skin burn, right? So you put the ice into an ice pack, into a plastic bag or whatnot, and then you wrap it with a cloth, and then you put it on the affected area. Put it on maybe for 10 minutes and then take it out. Then put it back on for 10 minutes and then take it out. All right. And the second one is compression. What is compression? Basically, you need to compress that area. Wear a knee guard, wear a guard. Pakai satu guard lah, ankle guard. Kita tengoklah kat mana kena. Kan kalau kena dekat peha takkan pakai ankle guard. Itu macam tadilah, saja pakai bandage kan. Or you use bandage to make sure that that area is being compressed, kejap. Right? And the third one is E. Anyone? E. Apa dia E? First is ice, second is compression. What is E? Anyone would like to give a guess? What is E? Nak cuba tak? Can you follow me? Can you hear me?
Emergency.
Emergency. Emergency. Buat emergency benda.
Ergonomic.
Ergonomic. Dia tahu ergonomic. Tentang belajar ergonomic kan. Ergonomic. Nak apply macam mana ergonomic tu? Cuba beritahu sikit. Nak apply macam mana ergonomic tu? Who said ergonomic just now? Bagus kat ni kan. What is E? It's not ergonomic. It's not emergency. E is exercise. Exercise means that, bukan doggy lah. Exercise means that you need to move that particular body region, that particular limb. Kena gerak-gerakkan dia. Jangan duduk, buat muka sedih kan. Tengok kesian kan. Kesian dia. Punya player, star kita dah injured. Kesian. Nanti dapatlah coklat. Sama-sama sekolah tu. Zaman doa asrama. Dapat coklat, dapat ucapan GWS. Get well soon. Padahal pemain ni je. What do you call that? Sub je. Simpanan. Simpanan, lepas tu simpanan semua hidup. Right. Tak cukupkan pendaftaran 22 orang je dalam satu tim.
Jadi ball boy.
Right. Right. So this is where you need to apply ICE, ICE. Right. So when we have symptoms, going back to the slide, when we do have symptoms, normally what we do, we neglect the symptoms. Kan kita rasa ni biasa ni, mesti ada sakit-sakit. Right. But maybe after you have gone through this course and whatnot, and then you realize that, oh, this is the symptom, and you cannot what do you call that? Take for granted these symptoms. Because why? If it becomes more severe, okay, maybe you are exposed to a very severe MSD. Lagi teruk lah. Okay? Slip disc ke, right? Ligament putus ke, tear of your ligament, tear of muscle, tear ke whatnot, right? So this is what happened also to me. Jadi juga when it was in 2007 or 6 or something like that. Okay, that time I've graduated, I was working, right? And my alumni, in Kajang, Mahan Amidah, okay, we did put up a football match, a friendly football match with Uniten, University Tenaga Nasional, okay, at Bangi. So we were in our late 20s, right? And we had a football match with the students of TNB in their early 20s. Bayangkan, bayangkan. What happened? What do you expect? What do you expect? Bayi-bayi you lawan bayi-bayi saya. Kalau bayi-bayi saya ni, passing tu memang passing lah. Passing dekat-dekat je, semeter pun passing. Right. Going with you guys, in your early 20s, main bola, right? Main kat stadium TNB tu. And then you do have your cheerleaders kat sebelah, gadis-gadis tengok, mesti nak. You want to you want to have the ball on your feet, from your goal post to the other goal post. Kalau boleh nak gelecek tu sampai habis kan. Sampai belakang goal post. Betul tak? So what happened to us? And what happened to me lah basically, right? So biasalah when you come to football match, you are a bit late after asar, you go on and tackle, go to the pitch, right? And then the match is already started. What happens? I put on my boots, okay, stretching pun lebih kurang je. So I did not warm up properly. The 5 minutes of the match, okay, I was a winger lah, okay, one of the winger, okay, left winger. So I was trying to cross the ball using my left foot. So just imagine, I was swinging my left foot to hit the ball, and at the same time, there's a defender, right, defender of the opponent, okay, tackled my foot. So it's like a head-to-head collision, macam kereta langgar depan-depan. My foot and his foot, and I was kicking and he was tackling. So you can calculate what are the momentum lah, boleh calculate what are the momentum, and he struck my foot, and my foot went back. Okay, dia ke belakang balik. Right, dia ke depan tu kena tackle, dia ke belakang balik. It locked, it popped out, and then I had this painful injury throughout my career. Padahal main tu ni je kan. Okay, sepanjang main bola, that was the most painful injury that I have ever experienced. What happened? Red card, alah main dengan TNB, tak ada benda pun. Lain lah main bola kan, red card tu memang penting tu, red card tu kan. Right, so what happened? So after 5 minutes going in, I went out. So the 2 halves, I was just watching. I cannot do anything. So I put some ornament, sapu minyak sikit, boleh bengkok-bengkok, right? Still hurting. My knee, my left knee still hurts, right? So I went back. Boleh naik motor. Okay, memang saya cakap boleh motor. Boleh. Okay, balik. I was staying at Kajang at that time. So TNB, TNB was not, and Newton and Kajang was not that far lah. So I went back home. So from 1 week to another, okay, my knee started to become much more painful. Tapi macam biasalah main bola kan. Sapu minyak. After 1 month, right, I said that something's not right lah, I think, right, because the painful does not subside. Okay, and then my mom said, go to Hospital Kajang lah, okay, make a checkup lah. So I did go to Hospital Kajang, met one of the orthopedic surgeons there, okay. And then he did one procedure. There's this one common procedure. You can just Google how to detect if you have ACL or not. Okay, anterior cruciate ligament. Okay, ligament tear lah. Right. So he did this, and then he said, "Oh, I can confirm that you have ACL injury." Right. So we need to have this scope to see what is the severity before we can further diagnose whether you would like to whether we would do a ACL reconstruction or just physiotherapy. And happens to be after the scope, okay, the doctor said you upon 100% of your bulk ligament, okay, of the ACL ligament on my left knee, upon 100%, there's only another 10% remaining, okay, that holds my femur, okay, tulang peha dengan saya punya tulang kering, tibia, is it? Okay, so that is the only ligament that I have, right? So he suggested to do, you need to do a knee reconstruction, ACL reconstruction, okay? Please choose the date. By that time, masa tu nak tunang kan. Right? So, takkan tunang nanti nak pakai tongkat kan? Terus tak syok kan? Right? So, I postpone it to about another 1.5 years. So, in that 1.5 years, I did only rely on 10% of ligament, ACL on my left knee. So kalau saya jalan lain macam sikit, pusing lain macam sikit, so it will dislocate, right? So this is why, because I did neglected the symptoms. So this is where if you do have these symptoms, okay, whether you do have a decrease of range of motion, ROM, okay, you do feel numbness. Numbness is very, very important. If you feel numbness on your hands and whatnot, maybe you are experiencing some disc, your slip disc, okay, due to slip disc, okay, your disc is pinching your nerves maybe. Okay, pain tu biasalah, pain, cramp, stiffness tu that is normal lah, okay. But these symptoms that you don't feel regularly, tiba-tiba je rasa, this is where you need to pay attention on that. Right. So how and why does MSD happen? Because of the work that you do. Okay, the work that you do. Okay, whether it is too or highly demanding in terms of physical demand. And there's a time domain there where it involves a prolonged duration or maybe a cyclic action, okay, berulang-ulang. Okay, repetitiveness is very high. So this is where, so this is where you could get or you could experience MSD. Right? So again, how can you assess this? Okay, it is assessed by you yourself. Okay, tell the doctor, what do you feel? What pain is it? What is the level of pain? Right. But before you or your workers, okay, the human operator, get these symptoms, feel this pain, this is where we need to avoid, okay, if possible, okay, this MSD to happen. And how to avoid this? This is where we do risk assessment, okay, ERA, ergonomic risk assessment. So this is what you are going to do in your mini project. Right. So again, so listen to your body. Okay, make sure when you do have symptoms, when you do have uncommon pains and you don't feel it regularly. So you must pay attention on this. Okay, at my age, I'm going to be in my 40s next year, insyaAllah. Panjang umur, right? InsyaAllah panjang umur, 40s, and jumpa lagi Ramadan, insyaAllah tahun depan. Right? So this is where normally we will always perform a medical checkup. Okay, we'll take a blood test, okay, urine test and whatnot, because we want at this age, at this 4 series age, this is where normally, okay, diseases or illness will start to come out. Okay, 3 serangkai. Jantung, kencing manis, what's the other one?
Darah tinggi.
Darah tinggi.
Darah tinggi, yes. But not talking about 40s, 30s or 20s pun ada juga zaman-zaman sekarang. Why? Kalau dulu darah tinggi ni penyakit orang 50-an. Orang nak pencen kan. Demanding for money, duit pencen tu nak bayar duit medical ni. But now you can see 20s or 30s, they do get heart attack. Why? Why does this happen?
Lifestyle.
KFC, McD, right? Starbucks. Mana Starbucks? Kopi okay kan? Dia punya kuih-kuih tu lah. All those cakes, right? Because what you eat is what you are going to be lah, right? So this is where nowadays, but I do believe, some of my friends also, they are afraid of doing any medical checkup. So apa? Takut. Orang kalau buat macam-macam tahu. Nak check rupanya kencing manis je. Nak check gula. Right. But you did a full blood test, semua benda keluar, pengsan. Kan? Darah tingginya, right? Kolesterolnya, acid uricnya, goutnya, right? Wah pinggangnya. Right. Nak check demam je. Right. So this is where it is important for you to make sure you do make a regular checkup. Okay, at UiTM, alhamdulillah, they have this program. If you are in your 40s, when you start to go in the age of 40, right, you will get a free medical checkup every 3 months. Okay. At the pusat kesihatan, okay, whereby you can do a free medical checkup. Okay, they will monitor your health, okay, your blood test, sugar and whatnot. If not, if you do yourself a medical checkup outside at Path Lab or whatnot, normally it would cost you around 150 to 200 ringgit, something like that, right? So trying to do it every twice a year is quite expensive lah. Alhamdulillah, at UiTM we do have this benefit. If you are 40 and above, okay, you can go to the pusat kesihatan, okay, and then you can perform a free medical checkup and monitor your health there. Right. So this is where again, okay, you need to make sure you monitor your body, monitor yourself, okay, your health and whatnot. But in terms of ergonomics at the workplace, who should you monitor? Anyone?
Ourselves.
Who should you monitor when you talk about ergonomics at the workplace?
Workers.
Yes, your workers, your human operators, because you are the one, okay, depan ni you akan keluar, you will be engineers, you will be executives, okay, and then after a couple of years working, maybe you will be promoted to assistant manager, maybe, okay, or manager, assistant manager, maybe you will go to from executive, okay, or engineer, and then you become senior engineer, and then you'll be promoted to assistant manager, and maybe you'll become a manager in about 10 years or 15 years time. And so this way, it is your responsibility to make sure that your workers, okay, are safe, okay, they're not exposed to all these risks or MSDs and whatnot. All right. When we talk about, okay, injuries, we'll talk about MSDs, okay, there's this term that we call adaptation, okay, adaptation versus injury, right? Who goes to the gym? Siapa yang main besi kat sini? Anyone that goes to the gym? Anyone? Farid, you go to the gym, Farid?
No, sir.
I don't go to the gym. Anyone that goes to the gym? Anyone? Orang kata yang pergi gym ni, they don't have what do you call that? Those who are going to gyms are macam lonely, tak ada benda lain nak buat. Kalau kita ada, you do have a girlfriend or whatnot, ada masa nak pergi dating di sana sini, right? Tapi yang pergi gym ni dia banyak masa, dia banyak ambil masa dekat gym, right? If you go to the gym for the first time, right, and you see all these dumbbells, all these weights that you would like to lift, right? What do? You directly go to the most heaviest weights, terus 10 kilo, 50 kilo ada dumbbell. Badan kurus je.
Ambil yang ringan dulu.
Ambil yang ringan kan.
Only
Ambil
up.
yang ringan. Lepas tu tengok ada pula sebelah tu, awak sebelah angkat 15 kilo takkan kita nak ambil 5 kilo kan. Kita pun belasah ambil 20 kilo. Right. What happens? Cramp. Muscle tear. Because why? Your muscle is not ready yet. Dia tak biasa lagi. Right. This is where your muscle has not adapted yet. Okay, that particular weight. So this is what we call adaptation versus injury. So you will injure yourself. Okay, you will injure your muscles. And so this is where if you look at professional athletes, they do have a very strict training regime, to make sure that they build up their muscles, they build up specific muscles, kalau macam Lee Chong Wei tu, right, specific muscles on the biceps. So apa biceps? Smash. Yes, not smash tangan. And basically on his left ke right? Left ke right bicep? Which bicep? Left or right?
Right.
Lee Chong Wei. Right lah. Sebab dia right-handed. Sebab dia smash bicep tangan kanan kan. So his bicep, right bicep must be strong. So this is where they do have this very specific regime, training regime, to build up the muscles. Okay, so that we do have this term of adaptation, adapting, adaptation, where the muscles adapts. The training, it becomes stronger, and you can do it. But compared to normal people that never had been to the gym, masuk terus nak angkat 10 kilo, 15 kilo, right? What happens? They will experience injury, right? So this is the important thing, right? When you relate this to your workplace, right? Relate to this to your workplace. So you need to know your capacity, you need to know your limit. Okay? You must make sure that you are dah biasa dengan keadaan tersebut, dengan kerja tersebut dan sebagainya. I'm not sure if you ever had work in a supermarket. Ada tak pernah kerja supermarket for part time? Anyone? Ni bukan dekat the store bagian baju-baju.
Pernah, Doktor.
This is at the groceries punya. Market lah, supermarket yang jual groceries, foods and whatnot. Right. So I've experienced this before when I did my degree. So it was during the long semester break. 4 months. So I did work at Winner Kajang, Balakong. Winner is a supermarket lah. It's a cash and carry, right? So I worked there for a couple of months just to get some pocket money at that time to buy a digital camera. Nak beli digital camera yang pasal kerja Winner, right? So at that time, now my weight is 75 lah. At that time my weight is 45. Bayangkan 45 kilo. How big is 45 kilo? Just imagine lah. 45, yes. Dulu berat saya 45 kilo dalam main bola tu. Sekarang main juga bola, right? But now I'm 75. 30 kilo, wow. 3 bags of 10 kilo rice. Kat mana saya letak right? So just imagine, right? The first day I work there, biasa bila you kerja macam tu, what happens? What happens? Those who have worked in a supermarket before. First day of work, what happened to you?
Tired.
Angkat barang.
Angkat barang.
Tengok kaki.
Yalah, angkat barang lah. Saya right? But what happens? Dengan pekerja-pekerja senior ni.
Tengok.
Dia
Apa
bully.
Bully, not bully lah. It is we call orientation. Dia suruh angkat tu, dia suruh angkat ni, right? Okay. And then when the stock comes, from the trailer yang 16 tayar tu, right? Just imagine the trailer is deporting canned milk, FNN, susu tin. On the top of the lorry, they just throw the box to you, and you need to tangkap kotak, and then put stack the box, and then you need to stand by for the second one, right? And the most heaviest box was apa? Agak apa? Siapa yang pernah kerja supermarket? What is the most heaviest box? Anyone?
Botol.
Beras.
Beras tak?
Beras.
Beras satu. Beras kampit-kampit. Or they will use a forklift. Kalau pellet dia akan guna forklift lah. And tepung kotak
Tepung.
biasa. Tepung kotak tak besar. Kalau besar nanti dia akan pecah. Siapa yang pernah kerja supermarket?
Sabun
This is-
baju.
Yes,
tin susu.
tin susu tak? Tin susu dia satu only one line je. Ada only a carton, if I'm not mistaken. Air mineral dia tak baling lah, right? Biasa dia akan pakai pellet. So, detergent, Dynamo. Satu kotak tu ada lebih kurang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ke 6, 6 box. They are throwing it, and you need to stand by below, and then you need to stack it. Oh, right. So first day, balik rumah, flat. Right. Because why? Because my body could not adapt yet. Kan? Memang you masuk, takkan you masuk kerja supermarket, you nak warm up kan? Right. So you don't do any stretching lah. Right. So for the second day, so I did the stretching lah, or konon-konon buat stretching. Sama juga, feel the pain. So 1 week, I feel this body pain. But after the second week, third week, okay, you get to know the style, you get to know how to receive the box, okay, how to stack it. Okay, ada cara nak stack. You have the gondola, one of all these terms at supermarkets. So you get used to it, right? So when it comes to the second month, relax. Tok mata je boleh sambut, right? Because why? Because there's another junior coming in. Dia pula take over kan. Right? So this is where, in terms of injuries, muscles, okay, especially related to muscles, we do have this term of adaptation. Okay? If your muscles do not adapt it yet, so most probably you will get injured. All right. So when I worked there, right, what made this is a double standard juga lah kadang-kadang that I don't like. So when I worked there, I entered this market using my SPM lah. I did not say that I'm doing my degree or whatnot from Mr. Nai whatnot. I didn't say about that, right? So senior yang kerja tu, well, yalah junior kan, they treat you as a junior lah. Okay, so along the way, okay, you have lunch with them. Okay, biasalah seminggu tu orientation. After that, you become friends with them. Then you have lunch with them, you have tea with them, you have a break with them, right? Share the hardship of working and whatnot. And I'm not sure how they get to know that I'm one of the students doing my engineering degree at Simlaya at that time. I'm not sure who opened their mouth. So somehow they become more respectful to me. Itu yang saya tak suka. Jadi macam segan. So I said to them, we are the same. Okay? Mungkin saya ada lebih rezeki sikit untuk sambung belajar, maybe something like that. Right? So that's the thing lah. Right? But just to share with you guys that the physical demand of that job in the first place, okay, did really affected muscles, okay, because of the posture, because of the weight, okay, because of the cyclic thing that I need to do, right? But along the way, when you do have all these not training lah, right, but every day you are always stacking, you're receiving the box and whatnot, so you get used to it, right? So this is where it lessens your exposures to energy. But if it is the first time, the first place, let's say you are going to the gym, masuk je, you directly lift up 10 kilo, 15 kilo weight. So by then you will get injury definitely. Right? So any questions? Any questions so far? No?
No.
Right. So I think we'll have a 5 minutes break. Okay, it's 3:35, so I'll see you back again in another 5 minutes at 3:40 before we wrap up our session. Just to share the second part of this slides, okay, before we wrap up, okay, for this chapter. All right.
Alright, sir.
Right, sir.
I'll be stopping the recording and see you back, guys, again in the 5 minutes. So go and stretch your body a bit. Okay, do some light stretching. Okay, just to stretch your body to get the correct posture. See you in 5 minutes. Right, so I'll be recording the second session of our lecture today. Right, so okay, it's already recorded. So I'll be sharing with you guys the second part of this workplace ergonomics. Right, with respect to the body posture. Okay, so again, okay, when we talk about injuries, okay, it always relates to the posture. Right? It always relates to the posture. right? And if you give an analogy of this, is basically our body. Okay, it acts like okay, it's about load and leverage, right? Your backbone is basically your fulcrum. Okay, so how do you distribute your loads? Okay, how do you leverage it? Okay, basically reflects. Okay, your backbone's health, right? Last 3 weeks, my mom and my younger brother was warded at Avicenna Medical Center, Shah Alam, okay, or previously known as DMC, okay, because they had slip disc. Okay, the disc is bulging outwards and somehow pushing or pinching the nerves, right? The nerves. Okay, so I did met the surgeon, okay, the spinal surgeon, Dr. Razif, okay, along with my mom, and he said to my mom, there's a contract. Can you follow me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So he said to my mom, right? Maybe you have seen this model of your backbone, somewhere when you see a doctor, right, at the clinic or why not. There's a model of the backbone, right? For the doctor to use to explain to the patients or whatnot, right? So he showed this backbone and he said to my mom, "Makcik, tulang belakang makcik ni, your backbone, your son's backbone, that is mine, and my backbone, that's the doctor's backbone, is basically having the same size." Dia tunjuk lah, he showed the model, okay, this size. So I asked the doctor, is this the size of a common or normal backbones of human? Yes, this is the actual size. So I was quite okay. So my backbone, my mom's backbone, and the doctor's backbone is basically having the same size, approximately the same size as the bone that he's showing, right? And now my weight is 75 kilo. Alhamdulillah, turun 5 kilo pas puasa ni. Right? The doctor may be around, I think, around 60, and my mom around 90 kilo. Right, so what can you conclude? Same backbone size, but different weight. What can you conclude on this with regards to the backbone? Anyone? Right, we cannot hear you. Someone is speaking, is it? What can you conclude?
Backbone tak mempengaruhi berat badan.
Backbone tak mempengaruhi berat badan, ya, betul kan? But what happens to the backbone?
Lebih banyak stres kena kat situ.
Yes, same size of backbone, but different loads. So the highest load will give a much more forceful exertion, more load, more load to the backbone lah, right? So this is where the doctor said, makcik kena kurangkan sikit berat badan lah. So in 2 weeks, my mom lost 5 kilo. Wow, I said I lost 5 kilo for about 3 months, 2 weeks. Right? So not talking about diet, but talking about if you do have higher loads, you put it onto your backbone, and the backbone is having the same size. So this is where you will get injury. So same as what you are applying when you are lifting something. You think you can lift that box, but can your backbone talk? Dia boleh cakap, oh, dah sampai limit bang. No, right? So how do they talk? They give a signal. What is the signal? Pain, right? So these are the symptoms. So this is where you need to know. This is about when we talk about posture, okay, how to lift things up. You think you can lift it up, but your body actually could not lift it because you cannot see your backbone. Bila tengoklah backbone korang. Agak siapa yang pernah tengok backbone sendiri? Okay, pernah tak? Besides, you do an X-ray lah. Pernah tak? Tak boleh kan? Sebab dia kat belakang nak tengok macam mana kan? Right? You cannot even touch your nose using your elbow. Betul tak? Mungkin ada yang tengah test sekarang ni. Cuba pegang hidung pakai siku, right? So you cannot talk with your backbone. You cannot even see your backbone, right? So how does the backbone communicate with you? They give you the pain signal. By that, baru tahu, oh, sakit belakang, sebab apa? You lift something heavy, right? So when you are doing something, you need to check your posture. Check whether if it is right, okay, whether if it is right, okay, whether if it is acceptable and whatnot, right? And when we talk about leverage, okay, your fulcrum is all about physics, Okay, it's about calculation. Okay, it's about whether it is the recommended weight that you could lift and whatnot. So we'll be looking into this recommended weight limit, RWL, in the the coming chapter of manual material handling, right? So when we talk about about posture, okay, so you need to look about all these symptoms, all these posture that are awkward, okay, things that may decrease your range of motion, okay, ROM, okay. Maybe it will somehow decrease your blood circulations, okay, because of prolonged standing, right? Like those guards at the kita panggil istana negara, right? You see those guards standing there without moving. Just imagine how they maintain, able to maintain their posture, standing posture for, but not for hours, because they frequently change the guards, right? But they can stand still, very still, right? So when we talk about it, this is where you need to look into your posture, check your posture, right? So now you have learned about ergonomics, so you must be more, the awareness of ergonomics should be more, right? So when you see someone, lepas kelas ni mulalah tengok, oh ni taklah posture ni mah, tak boleh ni goreng macam ni, right? Buat kuih raya sambil bungkuk-bungkuk kan, salah posture ni kalau ikutkan, mula kan, kau apa tahu siapa makan garam dulu, right? So this is where you need to, can you follow me? Saya buat lawak seorang kan.
Dengar.
Follow.
So this is where you should check your posture. Right? So this is where again why we do ergonomic risk assessment, because we want to make sure in the context of we are learning of ergonomics at the workplace, we need to make sure that our workers, okay, without your workers, your company is nothing, right? So without the workers, those down, the laborers at the shop floor, without them, okay, your company will not be running, right? So you need to make sure that their posture are good. How to make sure that? So you need to provide proper furniture, okay, proper procedures, okay, and all these things, right? So this is one of the telephones, long time ago. I think pernah pakai tak telefon ni? I think you don't have the ability to use this telephone. Pernah pakai?
Pernah.
What is the dial? How do you dial it? Tekan ke apa?
Tekan butang.
Tekan.
Tekan butang. Ni bukan tekan butang.
Tekan.
Yang ini jenis yang pusing tu.
Oh, yang
Boleh
bulat.
tengok tak?
Oh,
The
zaman
dial
tengah
one.
beli tu.
Yes, the dial one. I used that when I was a kid. Dial one. So we use that. So at offices normally they have this. They don't have intercom. Masa tu tak ada loudspeaker, right? So when they answer the calls, normally lah kerja-kerja klien pejabat, when they answer the calls, they must be doing something and then someone calls. So they will pick up the call and then they will continue doing the typing and whatnot. So they put the telephone, kita panggil apa, gagang telefon, they put this handle, okay, on their shoulder. So this is where engineers started to design something. So they put another external part on that holder, okay, a curvature part, okay, so that it replicates, so that it fits the shoulder. So dia macam ada support lah kat shoulder. Pernah tengok tak? Have you seen it? Okay, maybe you can Google it. So there's another part that's attached on the holder, pemegang itu, okay, that is a bit curved, and that curve supposed to be fit, supposed to be located onto your shoulder. So they become, so tak payah kepit lah kan. So just letak macam tu and then put it onto their ears. At this time they don't have any loudspeaker, right? But now ada loudspeaker. Tekan ya, tap, dia pun cakap, right? Same. Right? Ada earphone, okay? We do have wireless system, right? So we do have all these things, right? So this is where when we talk about all these possible risks, MSDs and whatnot. So this is where you yourself could do, okay, a posture check on yourself. Okay, you can see whether you are sitting correctly, okay, your arms, your hands, your shoulders and whatnot. Okay, so you can do all this. Okay, and if you assess, okay, yourself, basically you are doing an ergonomic risk assessment. You're assessing whether you are in the correct posture or not, whether you are in an awkward posture or not. Okay, and then after a couple of times, being in that posture, you can assess whether you do get pain, okay, on your back, maybe on your arms, maybe on your buttocks, maybe, okay, on your shoulder, maybe, right? So yesterday I had a lecture with the other group of the class, right? After lecture, I had this a bit pain on my on my right shoulder, okay, going back to the lower back, right? And I did realize I was not sitting. Saya macam duduk tepi sikit, macam ni. My left elbow is on the armrest, and my hands, my palm is on the right armrest. Macam sengit sikit, right? Tak perasan, right? Bila bagi kuliah ni dia macam shock kan, right? Shock sendiri kadang kan, right? So you don't realize that you are not in the correct posture, and you don't feel it yet. But when you feel it after you have ended the session. You are standing up, and then you feel, oh, sakit rakam, right? That is after 2 sessions. I do have a break in the middle, okay, like just now, right? So maybe because of age factor pun ya juga, right? So this is where you yourself could do a posture check yourself, right? So you can put a simple equipment setup, okay, to see, right? And this is a very old picture. You can see here. Why? Can you see this computer, this PC that she's using here? What's this? What's this?
Diskette.
What slot is this?
Diskette.
Diskette. Have you ever used a diskette before?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Diskette. What is diskette?
Yes.
Benar.
Diskette.
Yes.
And we have a smaller one. What is a smaller one? Diskette is cakra liut kan? Yang liut tu. Right? We have the hole in the middle and like petak besar tu kan, right? Okay. And we do have a floppy disk yang kecil sikit. Yang boleh tarik besi tadi tu, right? But nowadays we don't use that. We use our laptops and PC. Sometimes we don't have that drive. Okay, at least we do have a CD-ROM. But CD-ROM pun tak pakai dah sekarang. Because why? Because everything is downloadable. Okay, and only now we use what? We use thumb drives to communicate, to send data and whatnot. And we use cloud to install softwares and whatnot, right? So this is where you can see this is a very old picture, right? You can see, okay, the abducted shoulder, extended arm, okay, the extended wrist and whatnot. And so these are where they can lead to MSDs, right? So this where you have this stand here, okay, where you need to type something, you need to refer something. So there's a holder here, right? You don't use this monitor anymore, I think. Kalau main Dota pakai monitor ni boleh sakit jiwa, right? So I used this previously when I did my degree, right? So this is where you can do own assessment, okay, or you can assess your own company, your own workplace, your own workers to see whether there are possible risks or not, that could somehow affect their health. Okay, so this is where if you go to government offices and whatnot, right? They do have this poster. They put up posters on correct sitting posture. Okay, correct. What do you call that? Viewing posture. Okay, your eyes. Okay, your thigh, your leg, your seat height and whatnot. Right. But do the workers really follow this poster? Maybe yes, maybe no. So that's why it is very important for you to give awareness. Give awareness, right? So upon our company statistics of absenteeism for last year, okay, 70% of the workers did had an MC at least once or twice. Because why? Because of back pain. Okay, most probably because of body pain, not because of flu or fever and whatnot, right? Because of body pain. So this is where you need to give awareness, okay, how to sit properly, how to support your lumbar with the lumbar supports, okay, how to choose the correct type of chairs, okay, because when you are working in an office, you will be sitting most of the time, okay, compared to standing. But when we are working in a factory, okay, in an assembly line, you are going to stand most of the time compared to your sit, right? So this is where you need to provide proper, maybe a mat that can reduce fatigue, okay, proper insoles for the safety boots and whatnot. To whom? To the workers, because this is your responsibility, right? So this is about what I told you just now about recovery time, okay, the uniqueness of your muscles, okay. At least when you had done something in quite a prolonged period, you need to stop to take a break, because the uniqueness of the muscle is that when you have a break, at least a short break, once your muscle starts to recover back. Okay, it starts to recover back. Okay, so this is you can see it in a simple analogy, okay, referring to a football match. Okay, they play for 45 minutes non-stop, and they have this 15 minutes of break, right? So this is where they start to recover back. Okay, their what do you call that? Their endurance and whatnot. Okay, their stamina. Okay, and they can play another 45 minutes, right? But after 45 minutes, it goes to the extra time, another half an hour, and then after extra time, they have this penalty kick, or previously we have this, what do you call it, golden goal, right? Or what do you call that?
Yes, sir. Golden goal.
Golden goal. There's another term. Oh, lupa dah saya. Dia panggil golden goal is like this, right? You have another extra time, and you need to finish the extra time, right? And who scores the most wins, right?
Yes.
And there's another term also. Saya lupa apa nama term dia. Who scores first? Tak kisah. You have a 15 minutes.
That's a golden goal.
What was the other term?
Classic.
Lupa saya nama dia. Right. So just imagine to play in the extra time. So this is where you could see most of the players will experience muscle cramps and whatnot. Why does this happen? Although the muscle had recovered, okay, but it is already too exhausted. So tak boleh pergi dah. Right? So this is where they will get muscle cramps. Okay, they will be injured much more easily. Okay, they will get hamstrings. Okay, they will get muscle tear maybe sometimes, and maybe ligament tear and whatnot. Right. So when we talk about something that you repeat doing it on and on again and again for a certain period, when there's a time domain there, you need to have a break. Okay, you need to have a break. Because why? Because the uniqueness of the muscle is where when you have a break, at least for a while, okay, your muscle will start to recover. So this is about repetition, okay, doing something repetitively, okay, or something on cyclic. And there's another word, what we call it, contact stress, whereby your body regions, comes into contact with other things, okay, with your seat, with your table, with anything, with your tools and whatnot. There's something of your body touching something else. That's what we call a contact stress, right? And this is where it could also lead to MSDs, okay, injuries or any illness, right? Because when there's something is touching, right, there's a friction there, there's a stress on it, there's a load on it. So this will affect your body, okay, basically your muscle. Remember biomechanics? What is biomechanics? Okay, the interaction between your muscles and also your bones, right? The muscles that move your bones, right? So without the muscles, your bones cannot move. Without the bones, the muscle is nothing, right? So when you injure your muscles, can you move that particular limb? It definitely no, right? So this is where when we do have contact stress, this could also affect, okay, or lead to MSDs. Right, so any questions for the second part? Okay, so I think everyone is quite clear, right, of this third chapter. So okay, I'll stop recording. Okay, it's already 2 minutes past 4, right? So next week, okay, wait, what's wrong with my camera? So next week, okay, will be our midterm break, right? And also Hari Raya, right? So the following week, the 7th week, will be your first test that will test you on the first and second chapter only. Okay, that will carry 20% of the total marks, right? So we will continue the remaining slides for this third chapter and also the following chapters. Okay, after our 7th week, that is on the 8th week and above. Right. So this Wednesday, right? This Wednesday, hopefully everyone will join the session. Okay, because we'll be doing our 4th lab. Okay, lab session, and I will also share the requirements for your mini project. Okay, and also I will also share. I will also share the sample of previous semester's test. Okay, for you to get an idea. Basically, what are the questions? Okay, how are the questions being asked? Okay, but the most important thing when you answer the questions, okay, please make sure you answer it accurately, in a full sentence, relating your answers with respect to what you have learned. Okay, that is the ergonomics principles. Okay, I think that's all for today. Any questions so far? Okay, there's a few of you not here. I'm not sure why, so please make sure those students do contact me personally. Right, so I think if we don't have anything else, I would like to thank all of you that have been with me for today's session. Okay, thank you for your time and also your attention, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to apologize for any misconduct of today's session. So let's wrap up our lecture today by reciting Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-As. Okay, so by that, I would like to wish you selamat berbuka. Okay, salam 10 Ramadan terakhir, sama-sama kita mencari malam Lailatul Qadar, insyaAllah. Semoga dipertemukan. So by that, I wish you a very good evening. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you,
Selamat
Doktor.
buka,
Alright.
Thank you, sir.
Buka.
Okay, selamat buka. Elok pergi bazar Ramadan tu. Jangan beli lebih sangat.
Ini tak ada bazar, sir.
Where are you, Farid?
Happy, sir.
Where are you? Sabah?
Sabah, sir.
Sabah?
Yes.
Sabah, you don't have bazar Ramadan? Okay.
Siap.
Kota Baru, Kota Baru, Kota Baru. Mana Kota Baru ni?
Yes, sir. Ada, sir.
Itu Hamzah.
Hamzah.
BKP, sir. BKP, sir.
PKP lah. Oh, tak lagi mana ni mah.
Lagi bazar.
Oh, sini.
Beli online.
Kita ada bazar Ramadan kat PKNS. Lamb Shank terbaik. Lamb Shank.
Datang sobat.
Lamb Shank ayah pong.
Oh, baik.
Alright. So please be careful. I've just completed my quarantine. Okay, because my wife and also my kids is close contact, so I'm only casual contact. So it's very scary. It's very scary. Only because one or two of the students, so the whole class, the whole school needs to do the swab test, and the line is very, very long. Right. So please stay safe. Right. So thank you very much. See you guys this Wednesday, inshallah. Right.
Okay, sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.